One thing we noticed is we are often accused of being illegitimate in what we do. And when I ask them, do you think that everything you do is legitimate? They say yes. Well, I can tell you, let's remember what the U.S. did in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Libya. They acted there either without any sanctions of the UN Security Council, or they distorted the meaning of UN Security Council resolution, as they did in Libya. The resolution only spoke about a no-fly zone, and eventually it ended with air raids, airstrikes, and their special forces participating in ground operations there. Our partners, especially in the U.S., always make it very clear what their geopolitical and national interests are, and they pursue those interests with much determination. And then they use this phrase, whoever is not with us is against us. And they use this phrase to make all the other countries comply with their will. And if some countries don't comply, they attack them, and eventually they make those countries regret. Our position is very different. We believe that we are completely legitimate in what we are doing. I have always supported international law, and once again, I would like to emphasize, even if I decide to use the armed forces, this will be a legitimate decision. It will be fully in line with the general principles of international law, because we have received a request from a legitimate president, and it will also be in line with our commitments, and it meets our interests, because we will be protecting the people we consider closely associated with us, both historically and culturally, closely related to us economically. This meets our national interest, protecting these people does. And this is a humanitarian mission. It is not our goal to conquer somebody, to dictate to somebody, no. But of course, we will not remain indifferent if we see that those people are being destroyed, humiliated, killed. I really hope that it will never come to this. On the whole, what do you think about the Western reaction to the events in Ukraine, threats, sanctions, and Russia being kicked out of the G8? Yeah, exactly. Few words about sanctions. It is those who are going to introduce those sanctions who should think about consequences. In the modern world, where everything is interrelated and all countries depend on each other, of course you can cause some damage, but this damage will be mutual, and you have to think about that. That's number one. Number two, and this is the most important point. Like I said earlier, I explained our motives. And what are the motives of our counterparts? They have supported an anti-constitutional coup and armed seizure of power. They declared those people legitimate, and they support them now. Actually, even in this situation, we are open to cooperation. Like I said a few days earlier, I told the government to consider how we can continue having contacts even with those authorities in Kyiv whom we don't consider fully legitimate. We do our best to continue cooperation, industrial, economic cooperation, and so we think our actions are well-founded and all threats against Russia counterproductive. As regards the G8 summit, I don't know. We are preparing for the G8 summit, and we will be ready to receive our colleagues. If they don't want to come, that's up to them.